In 2013, Mitch Weiss decided to take a path any lesser man wouldn't dare travel. He now finds himself training to become the Midwest's most knowledgeable sports broadcaster. Focusing on Big Ten and Detroit sports teams, he decided to create a dwelling where his training would go undisturbed, a cave. More specifically, the man cave.
No girls allowed.
Mitch enlisted a team of highly sophisticated cavemen into his service to assist him in his tireless search for, well, sports stuff. When they're not sleeping, eating, or, oh yeah, they're analyzing sports as best a caveman can. You have now entered the man cave.
Danny Weiss is the youngest member of the Cavemen. Standing 6'4" and a fluffy 243 pounds, this Homo erectus enjoys hunting but will also gather from time to time. He has a striking resemblance to Man-Bear-Pig and often laughs at his own jokes. At 5'11", 190 pounds, Milton Marcus Lafayette O'Quinn III has the daunting task of being the president and only member of the Joey Harrington fan club. When not watching sports, he enjoys candlelit baths while listening to his favorite album, Big Willie Style. Daniel D-Mac McDonald comes in at 6'1", 200 pounds and hails from the inner city of Bloomfield Hills. He enjoys enjoyable things, sleeps when he's tired, and hopes that one day Ryan Gosling will get a tattoo of Sparty on his chest.
Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mitch.
And this is the Man Cave.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Mitch's Man Cave. I'm your host, Mitch Weiss, and I'm down here with the Cavemen. Joel is filling in for D-Mac again because D-Mac had a birthday over the weekend and he is still feeling under the weather from the weekend partying, which was deserved. I feel like the older we get, the harder it is to get over drinking nights, heavy binge drinking nights.
I agree.
How old is he? Like 42 now?
He's close to 42.
Yeah. Much longer turnover now.
Yeah. Like before I could get over it in an hour of being up. Now, if it's a birthday celebration, usually takes me a whole day just to get my stuff back together. Joel, Milton, and I went out on the town on Friday with a few other friends because Joel had a celebratory event, a reason to celebrate, and celebrate we did. Joel is an aspiring dentist.
I didn't. I got a negative AIDS result test, guys. That's what we're celebrating.
That's always
no
we're
AIDS.
celebrating.
There's no way.
Yep, that's what we celebrated. It was a beautiful thing. I'm really happy. AIDS-free.
But on a more
For all you girls
serious
out there.
note, Joel took the dental examination, what was it, Friday or Thursday?
Friday during the day.
And he got the score that he wanted on DAT, and we went out and celebrated.
What does the DAT stand for?
It stands for the Dental Application Test.
I was actually wondering the same
Or
thing
actually
myself.
Dental Applicant Test, I think.
Good thing that wasn't an answer or a question on the test.
Yeah, right. I would not have gotten that right. But yeah,
We had a
did
good
work,
time.
flossed it. We had a great time.
Yeah, I'd say it
Phenomenal.
was one of the better Friday night going out experiences.
A little too much fun, if you ask me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you
If you ask
deserved
my
it.
stomach.
That night is, how the young kids say, it was turned up.
It was
Yeah,
definitely
I
turned
believe
up.
they say
Yeah.
yeah, something turnt.
It was something crazy.
Turnt. Yeah.
I actually saw D-Mac on Friday.
Where'd you see him?
I saw him at Woody's.
We were.
Oh,
Oh,
I stopped by Woody's for a beer at like midnight.
Huh.
On the rooftop.
Yeah, I was there.
yeah, we were almost walked over there. Milt had a meeting to meet somebody there, but
Yeah.
we didn't follow him.
I
over
had a
there.
meeting.
Yeah, what kind of meeting?
a
did you
business
guys
meeting?
hold?
Meeting, yeah.
It was a social gathering amongst two friends.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I really like that Goodnight Gracie spot though.
Oh, me too. That's the new spot.
It's fun.
Always have a good time.
Not too crowded. Doesn't take forever to get a drink.
Mm-hmm.
No huge line, but great time.
Never a line. I like how they have that DJ out there in the back. And now that it's warm outside, kind of brings some of the attention away from the main area out back, and the population is more sparse.
And for
more
some
room.
reason, I end up just getting drunker there than anywhere else. I don't know why that is.
Maybe 'cause
maybe
they
it's
have-
just
I
the
agree.
nights we go there. are
I
just
think it
the
has something to
rowdy
do
nights.
with it's 2 different places, so there's 2 different bars. So it's just easier to walk up and get a drink because you're not waiting behind a flock of people to
That's true too.
weasel your way through to get to the front of the line. It was a good time though. Saturday just kind of had more of a chill night. Watched a couple of movies, took it easy, recovered from Friday. And then same deal Sunday, just another relaxing day. Had family dinner, which is always fun, over at the grandparents' house. And yeah, now we're here. Started on Friday, now we're here.
Yeah.
I saw a movie last week.
What'd you see?
I saw Grown Ups 2.
Nice. I want to see
Is
that.
that any good?
It was like the dumbest movie I've ever seen, but like I was laughing my ass off. So
So it was good then.
Yeah.
Classic
It succeeded.
Sandler
It
Yeah.
did what
piece.
it was meant to do.
right.
I've been getting into that newsroom show on HBO. I watched that on Sunday, and a little bit of True Blood, which I'm not really into, but
Yeah, Mitch, you just don't like all the naked women. You got a problem with that, don't you?
yeah, it's a little too much nakedness for me. I don't like naked women.
It's rude. I think it's rude.
It's just flat out
It's
Very
disgusting.
offensive.
inappropriate.
It's just wrong.
As a woman studies
I
major.
think I'm going to set the parental controls on myself for that one.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be allowed to see naked women.
It's very responsible of you.
I'm a responsible person.
Yeah.
Responsible people don't like naked women. But didn't you guys hear?
This is true, yeah.
Yeah.
I read it once in a book.
But the newsroom, I really like. No naked women on that one.
Jeff Daniels.
But Jeff
Jeff
Daniels
Daniels, that's-
kills it.
He gets naked, though, and
He's-
that's okay.
He's from the great state of Michigan.
He sure is.
Yes, he is. We just talked about him last week.
Yeah, we did. Being from the UP, or what they do up in the UP, or something like that.
Yeah.
Is he from the UP? I
I don't think he's from there.
think he's from, like, Chelsea.
He's from Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah, a theater there. or
But he was the
something, yeah.
spokesperson, or is, for that Pure Michigan campaign or
I thought
ad.
that was Tim Allen.
I thought it was Jeff Daniels. Isn't he on the commercials, Jeff Daniels? Or am I thinking of something else in Michigan that Jeff Daniels
I
is
think
on?
Tim Allen does those
He,
pure
he
Michigan
was on he did
commercials.
some commercials. I think it was the Pure Michigan
Yeah.
stuff.
But anyways, that show is pretty cool. And being an aspiring news broadcaster or someone looking to get into that area, it's very inspiring. And I think they cover the stories, even though as an audience you already know what happens in the news stories that they talk about on the show because they usually are backdated about a year. It's still very gripping, and you get all into the story, even though you already know what the result of the story is. It's cool to see it evolve and develop as a news story behind the scenes. But it's that time of the show, everyone's favorite, the most anticipated event every single week. It's Danny's live weigh-in.
Oh, yeah.
How are we feeling this week, Danny?
You can do it.
Large
You know-
and in charge?
Like I always say, I always bounce back.
Feeling small and not like a ball. Huh?
Okay. So we'll do our projections. Joel, last week Danny went back to 241.6,
Yeah, yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
And this week I'm going to go 238.7.
Have you been a good boy this week, Danny? You been eating well?
I'm going to take an educated guess. Danny weighs an even 240 this
And
week.
even 240. Joel?
We'll go 241.
241. So we got 241, 240, and 238.7.
It's rocking the Hanes this
Oh, wow.
week, y'all.
Boxer
Yeah,
briefs this
take
week.
take it off, big man.
Nice to skin
Let
tight.
it all hang out.
Please do not do that. It's not the locker room.
It smells like naked man in here.
The twig and berries.
Mitch, what are you doing down there?
The suspense is killing me because Mitch sees the weight way before the rest of the tunes do. And he's cheesing, so I don't know.
Yeah, he is. He's smirking about something. Oh boy, what is it?
I'm impressed.
Oh, man.
You
My
must have
man
been good this
slimmed
week.
down, I think.
Well, I'm not saying which way it went. I could be impressed by the amount of weight that he put on.
Nah. I can tell he looks a little lighter.
Maybe he just got rid of all his body hair and lost a few pounds that way.
It's passable.
I don't got the luxury of doing that.
Well, this week's official weigh-in is 235.2.
Oh,
Wow. Killing it.
man.
That exceeded my
The
expectations.
kid did work this week.
Dude.
Did you not eat? How did you do that?
Did you go bulimic, anorexic? What was the
Well,
strategy?
last week he had the Chicago thing, and he grubbed like a
Yeah.
a-hole.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm really surprised. I don't know.
Man.
Nothing special? You didn't fast or...
No, I mean, I think I was a little more strict with it this week just because I went ham in Chicago.
So you went full caveman this
You went
weekend?
ham literally
Yeah.
in Chicago.
I ate a
He turned
whole
into
ham.
a ham. Well, good for you. I'm very impressed.
I'll give him a round of applause.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that
we're
deserves
proud
one.
of you.
I'm gonna give pat on the back.
Nice.
Is that an all-time low since you
started?
started the diet, 235.2? I know it is on the show.
Yeah, 235 is the all-time low.
Nice,
So,
man. You're probably feeling pretty good about
Yeah.
yourself.
Way to go.
so this is gonna be a pivotal week though, because I haven't gotten past that 235 point yet.
True.
So
That's kind of how you plateau there.
yeah. So we'll see if I can continue to improve upon myself.
Well, that's encouraging.
I'm proud of you.
All right, Milt,
Way
you
to
want to
go.
introduce last week's poll question or this past week's poll question and tell us the results?
Most certainly. We posted this poll question
I think it was on Monday.
Monday to get a little traffic out there, and it was,
Last Monday, that is.
should college athletes be paid? Yes or no? 43% of our viewers think that college athletes should be paid, and 57% said, no, don't give those suckers a dime.
I was a little confused by the question because aren't college athletes paid?
They get, well, come on, like Reggie Bush, is that a shot at, like,
It is. And they do get paid.
yeah, they get, like, grants for spending money, I've heard.
The reason I posted that poll question is because of the NCAA suit from the players.
Yeah.
And reading more into it, I really believe that college athletes should get paid, and I don't mean by illegal boosters and all that stuff, because I know the people who voted no are coming from the argument of they're getting free education, room, board, and college tuition, which is all good and true, but I see the university makes a ton of money off of these players, and so that kind of cancels each other out with them getting the free education and the university making money off of the players. But then you have these players who are working. I mean, that's a full-time job. Playing a college sport is a full-time job, so you can't expect these college-age kids, 18 to 21, 22 years old, to play. Let's talk about Division I. Let's come from that it's a Division I sport. To play a Division I sport and still have time to earn spending money on the side, because the playing for the team itself, that's a 40-hour-a-week job. You expect them to go work for another 20 hours a week and do their schoolwork. It's not realistic, and that's why you see these illegal boosters coming through and saying, well, hey, here's some money. Think about me when you graduate and, it's like an investment. Pay me back when you're in the league or whatever it is.
I mean, Mitch, you mentioned about all the money that these sports teams bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And I just pulled up a list here of the from the 2011-2012 season. Texas football topped the list, and they had a revenue of $103.8 million, and Michigan being at second at $85.2 million. So, I mean, it's just a ridiculous amount of money coming in.
And think about these college athletes who are walking around campus and they see all of their fellow students wearing their jersey or wearing T-shirts or sweatshirts that represent the team that they play for, and they don't see a dime of it for spending money. I understand that they get the free education and everything, but they need money to be college kids.
EA Sports making a bunch of money on the video games too.
Yeah, like Denard, he doesn't get a dime for being on the cover. He actually had to pre-order and like pay for the game himself, and he's on the cover.
Yeah.
And that game is making millions, and he's not seeing a nickel.
No. So I understand the argument for the no, but I just think you have to be realistic, and you have to let these kids have a life outside of their team and education. You have to provide them with a little. I'm not talking about thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Just a little stipend that will give them a couple $100 of spending money where they can go out and get a pizza. How can these guys? They don't have time to make money to go out and get a pizza. And a lot of them, I don't want to stereotype, but a lot of them come from not well-off families. Let's be honest. They don't come from great background. A lot of them. Some of them do, but most of them, they come from poor families and that can't provide them with the spending money. And it's just not realistic to expect these kids to work full-time. And by work, I mean play on the sports teams and work a side job part-time to make extra spending money for themselves. Especially with all the money that they're generating for the schools, I think the players should see a little bit of that.
Absolutely.
I came across this article of this Alabama freshman, D. Linner. Have you heard of him? He's a pretty highly sought after recruit.
Yeah.
Do you see that picture of him? He posted this picture on Instagram of him with just wads of cash, which obviously brings up a lot of questions of how he acquired that cash.
That's another thing. If the student athletes are getting paid by their university, it'll take away some of the illegal recruiting tactics employed by some of these schools where they're offering the kids money to come to their school. So you cut out a lot of negativity by giving them money.
You hear about Clowney almost getting in trouble for visiting Jay-Z?
I did.
But luckily he paid for the whole trip himself. Had like Jay-Z flown Clowney out to come meet with him, then Clowney might have been ineligible this year. So that's a little nuts that they're so quick to, persecute the player who's making them millions of dollars, and they won't even compromise.
See what you made me do?
The trade deadline for the MLB is on Wednesday, and the Tigers have already made a splash acquiring Houston closer Jose Veras. And that's actually a move that I'm fully supportive of. It's kind of what I was asking for in prior episodes. A minor move to get a back of the bullpen relief help, but not one that's going to break the bank in terms of money and prospects that we would have to give up in the trade. He's a 32-year-old reliever. He's been around the MLB for a while, and he's actually having a somewhat career year. He's got a 2.93 ERA and has converted 19 of 22 saves with 44 Ks and 43 innings. So he's averaging a K an inning, which is what you would like to see out of your relief pitchers, guys that can strike guys out. And I don't see him being a closer for us because Benoit seems like he's settled into that role and he's been pitching really well. But to add Veras as a right-hander to Drew Smyly as the left-hander, that's a very formidable 7th and 8th inning combination to get the ball over to Joaquin Benoit. Joaquin Benoit. I got my names all confused. So I would say it's a good move.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, Leland said this morning that he wanted to use him in the 7th or 8th inning, and he would use him as a closer, but only in the instance where Joaquin needed a little rest.
Sure.
So I think he adds great ability to our bullpen. I mean, I think this month of July, our bullpen's been playing pretty good.
They have.
You know, Smiley's been steady. Everyone's been keeping me happy except for Phil Koch.
Benoit hasn't blown a save yet, has he?
He has
No,
not.
He's 10
No.
for 10.
He has not. And he's looking very confident in that role. So it appears that the Tigers are probably done making moves, because that is the only major weakness that I see on the team. One other thing that I could see happening, or that I would like to see happen, is maybe get another left-handed relief pitcher to be the specialty guy, because Phil Koch still just isn't getting it done. You need to have that one lefty who can come in as just the guy to get out a left-handed bat, because you can't use Smiley in that role because he's the setup guy. So we need one more left-hander. It's not a major need, but it's something that I would like to see done going forward.
We could also use one more lefty at bat. I've heard, Don Kelly's nice, Ramon Santiago's straight. I mean, but if we could somehow acquire another lefty who's like solid, then I would feel much more confident going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I would like to see a lefty and at a specific position in the infield, because Infante's recovery from this ankle injury is going much slower than I first thought it would. And that's making me nervous, because if we're going to have to rely on Santiago and that rookie they called up, Perez, to handle that position going into the playoffs, that would make me feel a little uneasy. I think that Infante will be back. I don't think that he'll miss the playoffs or by any means. But that's just a worrisome spot, because if that's a lingering ankle injury, I'd like to have better depth at that position than who we are currently putting out there. But other than that, I don't really see any other areas of need, unless they want to upgrade in left field. But I don't really see how they can upgrade without giving up major pieces. And the platoon they have with Dirks and Tuyasa Sopo seems to be working fine.
Yeah, the only way they'd make another big move is if something happened with Peralta, I think. But I don't think anything like that's going to happen until after the season's done.
Right.
So I think they're going to stay where they are right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would agree.
They're pretty good where they're at every position.
So football is officially in the air, and I know we talked about how excited we were for it to get going in the last episode. But the Lions opened training camp last week, opened last week. And there's been some encouraging reports out of camp. Louis Delmas has been on and off practicing. He's going every other day as he works his way back from that long-term knee injury. But it's encouraging to see that he's out there practicing. He's out there with the team, because he's really one of the more vocal leaders, and he's probably the captain of the defense. And the rest of the secondary has been getting good reports as well. Obviously, Calvin has been tearing it up, and I don't expect any of our defensive backs to be able to hang with him. But Darius Slay has been competing well with Calvin, and he's been very receptive of the opportunity. He's taking it as a huge learning lesson, going up against the best in the game. And I think that actually gives our secondary an advantage, that they have to match up with Calvin and Stafford, who's one of the better young slingers out there. It definitely helps them in terms of improving, because they're going up against the best. And also Bill Bentley, I guess, has been flourishing in his role as the nickelback now, playing inside where he can use his quickness and acceleration to stick with the smaller receivers. The linebacker battle is going to be one to watch. I know I've touched on this before, but in reading these reports from the early training camp days, each one, Ashley Palmer, Tahir Whitehead, and Travis Lewis, have each gotten run with the first team. So that seems like it's going to be an ongoing battle for all of summer before the season starts.
Tulloch just said that I quote, this is a quote from middle linebacker Steven Tulloch. "This team is a playoff team. There's no question about it. You guys come here every day. You see what's going on. We've just got to put it together. We put the distractions behind us from last year. We got rid of some players that were kind of dragging us down." And Tulloch was actually voted by the top 100 players. He was like ranked in the 60s as like one of the top players in the whole league. So
by who? By the players?
By the players. Like, you know how NFL Network has that top 100. He was in the 60s. So, you know, I like what he's saying. I still think Tulloch's a beast, but he thinks this is that this is the year.
It's nice that he's healthy too. I read some reports that he was playing with an injury last season that he kept on the DL, and now he's 100% healthy and he's feeling good.
Nice.
Another camp battle, other than the linebacker position, is at running back for the second string job behind Reggie Bush. And I guess LaSure and Joique Bell have been splitting carries on the second team. So that's another one to look at. And then the offensive line, Corey Hilliard and Dylan Gandy have been running with the first team at the right guard and right tackle position. And it seems like they've fared okay, not great. They're splitting most of their reps, it seems. And by splitting, I mean they're winning some and losing some with the defensive line. But I guess Sue and Fairley are just tearing it up.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking poised to be a dominant defensive tackle duo. They're both doing a lot of talking. Obviously, they have to walk the walk when the season starts. But Fairley showed signs of coming on late in the season. And Sue's been in numerous publications this offseason where the writer predicts that he's going to be a breakout candidate and get back to that all-pro form that he showed when he was a rookie. So that's encouraging. I guess Ansa's gotten off to kind of a slow start, which is to be expected because he's got limited experience. But he's come on in the last couple days.
Do they expect him to contribute at all this year?
Well, yeah, I would hope that he would contribute being the fifth overall pick. But I guess Willie Young has been playing with the first team at that wide defensive end position, and he's been faring fairly well.
Do we have confirmation that Ziggy's going to play with the 3D glasses on?
We don't have confirmation, but we'll look into it
I hear
further.
it really enhances the football experience.
That's what I heard, too. I heard it really, really enhances it out there.
But, yeah, I'm excited for the season. It sounds like there are some encouraging signs. Obviously, it's all hearsay with it being training camp, and it's not always padded. But it's nice. It's nice like the players are confident.
Although the past 2 days they have been wearing pads.
Yeah.
And they said that's a change from last year. Schwartz changed it up. He wanted more padded practice, which I think is great because, you know, Lions are notorious for missing tackles and just, you know, so I think the more padded practices there are, the better the team will play on defense.
All right, Will, you want to give us your wife of the week?
Most certainly. My wife of the week this week is the beautiful Candy Mahan, who made headlines this week. She's the wife of golfer, PGA pro Hunter Mahan.
Hey, don't forget that he's a member of the Golf Boys rap group.
It's true.
Oh, he has a group.
Yeah, it's him, Ricky Fowler, Ben Crane, and Bubba Watson.
Wow. Well, he's killing it in the studio and on the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
And in the bedroom.
We're going mayhem.
Well, she's our wife of the week because she called Hunter's agent and said, yo, I'm about to pop. I need my man by my side. And Hunter was...
And by pop, you mean a baby
Yeah,
out?
she was about to pop a baby girl. Okay.
Like pop lock and drop it?
I need Hunter here. So he dropped what he was doing. And
what he was doing was winning the golf tournaments.
Mahan withdrew from the RBC Canadian Open for the third. It was in the third round after news of the wife, and he was the 36-hole leader at that point, taking two-stroke advantage into the third round. But he just dipped. He just left to run by his wife's side. And if I had a wife that looked like that, I would have ran as well because she is a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Yummy.
And she is a blonde, and she is oh my Lord. I mean, when we post this pic and you see this girl, you would have ran too. So, you know, Candy, you look just like Candy. Keep doing what you're doing. Hunter, I see you, man. Get back out there and win the next tourney. And big ups.
Bring home the candy for Candy.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a Husband of the Week award for
he
that.
does. Like, I was thought about it, but,
It's pretty legit.
We can't do that down here in the man cave, but we'll give him props for being a good man.
Yeah, he's a good man. No doubt about it.
Well, now that football's around, I don't want to stop talking about it. I'm very excited.
Yes.
I don't want to stop talking about
It's
it.
football weather outside.
I know. It's been feeling
Right.
like the fall for the last few days.
Hey.
It's getting me excited, but it's also too soon for it to be this cold.
Yeah, true.
But last week on Wednesday, the Big Ten held their media day, and I didn't watch too much, but I did pay attention to Brady Hoke, Mark D'Antonio, and Urban Meyer's press conferences, just because those are the three main, well, not the three main coaches, but obviously my head coach and then the two rivals' head coach. So I like to pay attention to those guys, and I thought they all did pretty well. Urban Meyer obviously had a lot of questions his way about the arrest that happened, and I guess his reputation is that you never know if he's really telling the truth or not, but I think that he handled it pretty well. I thought D'Antonio did a great job. To me, even though Brady Hoke is my guy, he still needs to work on his public speaking a little bit. He throws a lot of ums and uhs out there, but he's straight to the point and he answers all the questions, so got to respect him for that. But aside from the Big Ten Media Day, Michigan also held their annual barbecue at the Big House this past Sunday. And it has usually been an event where lots of commits happen. And this year was no different. And a big shocker on, I believe was it Sunday? Or was it Saturday? Was it the day before the barbecue? I forgot what day it was. But it was over the weekend. 5-star athlete in the 2015 class. So this guy is a rising junior.
Yeah.
George Campbell from Florida committed to Michigan, and he's already getting compared at age 15 to Calvin, A.J. Green, Randy Moss, and he actually might outgrow the wide receiver position because at age 15 or 16, he's already 6'4", and I guess he has a pretty big frame, so he could actually outgrow wide receiver. But I guess he's a freak athlete.
It's fast.
Fast. I mean, these are hand timed, so you got to take him with a grain of salt, but he recorded a 4.36 40-yard dash. So I'd probably guess that's maybe closer to like a 4.46, but still, as a rising junior, that's still impressive, especially at that size. You know, he had a 37-inch vertical, so wherever he ends up, I'm sure he'll be a player. And then today, Monday, they got another commit from a kid who was at the barbecue in the 2015 class as well. Another borderline 5-star guy, a running back from Kentucky named Damian Harris. So this seems to be a pretty good recruiting event for the Wolverines. They pulled in a number of guys over the last few years as a result of this Big House barbecue.
And these guys, so they will enter Michigan in 2015.
Yeah, so we won't actually see them for a few more years.
Right.
So, and obviously they're not binding commitments, so a lot could happen. But Michigan has this policy, for football at least, where you can't go on official visits or any kind of visit once you commit. Otherwise, your commitment is no longer considered by the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Like they no longer consider you to be a commit for the team. And a reporter brought that up to George Campbell and said, well, you know, you're only rising junior, and Michigan's got this strict policy. Is that going to be a problem? And he said, I knew about the policy going into my commitment, and it won't be a problem.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm going to Michigan.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Well, Brady Hoke might struggle in his press conferences, but the guy can recruit.
Yeah.
No question
Yeah.
about that.
And they were giving him flack for that, saying he couldn't bring the big, skilled
Right.
position people to the school.
Well, he certainly answered that because Derek Green and Davion Smith are coming in this year as true freshmen, and they're both running backs. Derek Green, obviously the big fish, as a 5-star running back. In 2014, he's already got Drake Harris committed at wide receiver, who's another 5-star borderline guy.
That's 14.
That's what I said.
Oh.
2014. And then now in 15, he's got 2 more 5-star guys coming at offensive skill positions. So he's silencing his critics there a little bit. So there's reason for excitement, but obviously these guys aren't going to have an impact on the team for another few years.
Right.
So you never know what could happen between now and then. but there's reason to be excited.
I'm-
You shouldn't not be excited.
I'm excited for that kid who debuted his. He said where he's going to school. He chose Michigan, but he did on ESPN a few months ago.
Oh,
and he was
Peppers?
rapping.
Oh yeah.
So he'll be here this season.
No, next season.
Next season.
He's in
Well,
the 2014 class.
I'm excited to see that kid too.
Uh-huh.
Good things to come in Ann Arbor. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Sounds like terrible things. Sounds like the most terrible.
Oh.
What's
terrible
going on in
things.
Spartan world?
Well,
Sparty.
Michigan State held their good old Spartan Stadium Sandwich Sunday this past Sunday,
That's a real thing.
and nothing happened. They got nobody committed out of the Sandwich Sunday.
Are you being serious? It's Sandwich Sunday.
No, I'm come on, guys.
I
Come on
like
now.
that though. I like your style. You said sandwich.
But they did have an
Sunday.
event though a couple weeks ago, didn't they? Didn't they have
No, they had nothing.
They didn't?
We don't even do events.
No
We
sandwiches?
just take whoever wants to come and walk on, and we
Oh.
just go, all right, guys, dress up in green and white.
You guys
show
gotta
up
be nice.
on Sunday.
You guys.
No, don't worry. We got we got the whole family of Bolos. They got 13 more on the way, so we're gonna be stocked for a while up in East Lansing. We're good.
Defense is
all
going
we
to be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
Spartan
It's
defense.
gonna be a tough.
It's gonna be a good year.
You know who I think is going to surprise some people this year?
Sparta.
Indiana.
No, come on, dude.
I really do.
Indiana's never gonna be good.
They've got the
I-
most
I
kids
don't
coming
know.
back in the conference. They've got both their quarterbacks are returning, and I like their coach. Kevin Wilson, I think, is a good coach. I actually listened to him talk because he came on before one of the three guys that I mentioned, so I caught the end of his speech. And he seems like he's a pretty legit coach. I would definitely go play for him. He's a fiery guy.
Yeah, they might have a lot of guys coming back though, but who are these guys?
That's true, but he brought in a good recruiting class this last cycle. In
I mean,
2013.
good in terms of Indiana, good. Which
Well,
is
yeah, that's what I mean. In terms of that,
still like
they brought
not
in a few
top
4
50 in the
stars.
country.
No,
But I mean, they're bringing in good players. Like,
And that
I'll
side
agree
of
with
the
you on
division.
that. But
if you look at that side of the division too, at least for this final year with the current alignment,
it's pretty weak.
it's
Yeah,
pretty weak.
It's
So
really weak. After Ohio State, there's
Right.
a big drop off.
yeah, I mean anyone can take it. So I'm just thinking of some sleeper teams that coming under the radar.
Yeah.
Indiana, I think Northwestern is going to be good again because they have Kane Coulter and that other quarterback, also the throwing guy,
They got
and
Vern
then
Mack. What's
yeah,
his name?
Benrick
Vern
Mark.
Mack. Vern Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be
He's
good.
good.
They're a 10-win team. We're a 10-win team last year.
I think they're actually going to do worse this year than last year. I think last year
Yeah.
they got ugly. They got some lucky, ugly wins in there. And I
Yeah.
think this year they don't do nearly as well.
I agree.
They were kind of a fluke, and they're riding that momentum pretty hard right now with the recruiting and everything.
yeah. They're
but
putting together.
you
Some
know what? They're
impressive
taking
classes, too.
advantage of it, but I think they're going to quickly be back down to earth and put back in their place.
Like Kevin
'Cause
Wilson,
they're-
I think
they're not
that
that good.
I think that Pat Fitzgerald is a tremendous coach too.
I think he just looks like a dumbass.
He does. I mean, he doesn't control himself on the sidelines very well either. But
He looks.
he's
he's
done well there. I mean,
You know how Bruce Weber would just make those terrible faces?
Yeah.
You just see that weird, bizarre, terrible smile on Bruce Weber's face and be like, why do you look like an idiot? Pat
Yep.
Fitzgerald looks the same way. He just looks like an idiot. And I could never, ever have my coach just being that guy that just looks like an idiot. That would just rub me the wrong way.
well, don't go play football at Northwestern. Come on, man. That was your former school for a little while. You can't hate on them too much.
That's true. Go Wildcats. Woo! Here we go, Wildcats. That was the worst place, though. That's why I left.
Yeah. How long were you there for? I
I
forgot.
was there for a year.
A year?
Yeah. Not very
I
excited.
visited Evanston last week when I was in Chicago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you think? There's not much going on. It's basically like a dry town.
Yeah, it
There's
seemed
like 2 bars. Nobody even goes out.
it was
for
yeah,
it.
because it's more of like a suburban area. It's not
Yeah.
really a.
I mean, it's like a college town, though. It's like going to like Ann Arbor.
I don't know.
Evanston's pretty nice downtown. They're in the water. It's a pretty place, but
No, it's a very scenic area. Like it's on the
Yeah.
water. They have like a park in front by Lake Michigan.
just fun wise, it's not
It's not
very
hype enough.
conducive to fun.
Yeah.
It's more.
You could go in the
conducive
city
to
though, can't
studying.
you?
You what?
You can go into the city though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How long's that drive?
Take
I
that
haven't even
train.
driven it, but yeah, it took like the L and it took like 45 minutes. Not too bad. 40 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah. It's good times. It
So-
was the best of times, and it was the worst of times.
times. Major League Baseball has announced that the biogenesis suspensions should be announced this week. And the major players still in the case, other than Ryan Braun, who has already been suspended, is A-Rod. And apparently he's been offered a deal by the MLB. And I forgot exactly what it was, but it's something along the lines of he can get suspended for the rest of this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is, Milt?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
He gets suspended for the rest of this season and all of next season. And then he can come back. And if he decides to appeal this, he runs the risk of getting banned from the game for the rest of his career.
A lifetime ban?
Lifetime ban.
Wow.
Because this would be a second time getting caught, right?
Well, the first time he never got suspended for it, though, because I know the current rule is 50 games for a first-time offender, and then 100 for...
And that rule came into play after his first offense. I think when he first did it, he just admitted to it. I forgot
Yeah, there was no...
if there was a case or any,
There was no
legal thing like
suspension
that.
or anything
No.
out of it. No.
So where's the lifetime
Dodged
ban
it.
come from?
From C-League.
This new law, I guess you could say, it's one of the new rules in the MLB where with regards to their suspensions for steroid use.
Yeah.
First time offense is 50 games. Second is, I think, 100 games. And third, strike three, you're gone.
So this is
something like that.
This is strike three then?
Maybe. I'm not sure how they're counting the
It's
first
like-
one against him. But I think the Yankees just really are sick of him, and they're just telling the MLB, you know what? Let's just get him out of here. We don't even want him back anyways.
Well, this is Bud Selig who's saying if you want to try and fight the case, you run the risk of getting banned.
Right.
Because I think he's trying to clean up the sport,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's really tarnishing MLB right now.
Totally.
So he's trying to say, I'm not playing around.
I think the Yankees are pushing for that, too, because they don't even want him back. They're
Yeah.
sick of paying him. They hope he gets suspended so they can get out of that,
Yeah, they definitely don't
$25
want
million
him
a
there.
year for the next 5 years still he is remaining, whatever it is.
But it has an impact closer to home as well. And I think you started to touch on it a little earlier, Joel, with Peralta. But he's one of the names in this case. And it seems that after they decided what they're going to do with A-Rod, they're just going to do a blanket suspension for the rest of the guys involved and just give them a 50-game suspension without the possibility of appeal, is what I believe that's what I read. So that could be a significant loss for Peralta. But if he's going to go out for 50 games, he should just do it now so he can get back before the playoffs start, don't you think?
Yeah. I heard a thing he could do, because he's worried about, next year he's a free agent.
Right.
So if he sits out this year, he misses all this time, and who's going to sign him next year?
Mm-hmm.
So I heard the Tigers might say, sit out the 50 games, and then don't worry, we'll give you a contract for next year, so you still have a team.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's his whole thing, he's worried about who's going to sign me next
Yeah.
year after all this goes down.
The media's been pretty quiet about him, though.
They have been, but they've been quiet about all the other guys because the case
Is there just not much information coming out?
Well, they're going up after the big names. No one in the national news or nationally wants to know about what's going on with Johnny Peralta.
Yeah. The local media's been pretty quiet, too, though, I feel like.
No one really knows what's going on because
Yeah.
all the focus is on Braun, and he's now gone, and now A-Rod. So as soon as that gets handled, I would expect to hear more about Peralta and the other guys. But it kind of comes at a terrible time because the trade deadline is on Wednesday, and if something was going to happen with Peralta, from the Tigers' standpoint, you'd like to have time to possibly make a move,
Right.
do a little rental type deal to get a guy who is a legit shortstop for those 50 games that Peralta would miss, unless they feel confident enough just calling up Danny Worth and having him in there as the everyday shortstop.
I sure hope they don't. That would not
Because
make
he can't
me feel
really,
confident.
he can't really hit.
No, he's very good defensively,
Yeah.
but he can't hit.
And Santiago hasn't been hitting at all. His production's dropped off
It seems
in the
weird to me
past
that
couple of years.
it seems weird to me that they would even not give him the option of appealing. Isn't that's just like a right they have? I think though.
I read
Through
that today.
the union, the players, association and whatnot.
I read that today, and it seemed kind of weird to me because you would think that they'd be able to appeal.
Yeah,
You know,
and
I agree with you.
That's what I was initially hearing, was that they were not going to suspend the majority of the players this year because they figured they would all appeal and it would take a long time to go through that process. So it wouldn't even get done until next year anyways. So they figured, why even announce these suspensions now for the majority of them if it's just going to go through this big appeal process and not even end up happening this year? Because, I mean, if I was Peralta, I would want to play the rest of this year out. I mean, the Tigers are in the hunt for it, and if it happens later, we're not going to be able to get anyone to fill in.
Yeah.
So that's really going to be detrimental
think
to
that
us.
had something to do with those reports about Peralta's contract that you just touched on, Milt, because the issue, I believe, was that he could, and this is under the impression that he could appeal the suspension, so the deal was he could sit out the 50 games this year and hurt the Tigers this year, or he could appeal the suspension and it would carry over until next year, in which case it would hurt his value because he wouldn't be available, possibly, depending on how the case would go, for the team he would sign for next season. So that would hurt his value. All right, Danny, lighten our moods a little bit here. Give us your hero of the week and make it count.
Well, we're reaching outside the Michigan geographic area. We're going down to Texas. Apparently, over the weekend, Johnny Manziel, a.k.a. Johnny Football, stopped by a Texas University frat party, and he did not receive a very warm welcome. In fact, he was kicked out very shortly after arriving.
What?
And as he was leaving, some obscene language was shouted towards him.
And I saw that beer cans got tossed at him, too.
Yep. So shout out to Texas fans.
Dude.
Hook 'em.
For, that's some good fanship right there.
I guess so.
I give him props. I mean,
Because of course, Johnny Manziel goes to Texas A&M, one of Texas rivals.
Chief rivals.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he would go there and put himself in that position. Well, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not surprised. I shouldn't say I'm surprised just because of what he's been up to this offseason.
Johnny Heisman.
Johnny Heisman.
He's above the law.
If this was the first time that I heard Johnny Football's name in the media for negative news this offseason, I wouldn't think that this is a big deal. But the fact that it seems like every week he's doing something to tarnish his name and the university he plays for. And think about his head coach, Kevin Sumlin. He's putting his coach into these awkward positions every single week where he's having to defend his guy. And it's hurting his draft stock.
So what's the kid doing? He's just partying and...
He's just partying. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing,
Right.
really. He's just a kid in college, and he's partying, and he's very open about it. He says, I'm going to live my life like a 20-year-old college kid. I'm only going to be able to do this once in my life, which is all good. We've all been there.
Right.
Danny's still there. I mean, there's nothing that we can say about that because it's not like we haven't done it. We'd be hypocrites for saying otherwise. But none of us are Johnny Manziel, Heisman winner.
Right.
So
yeah, he's got a microscope on him. He's got to just learn how to handle it better. He can still go out and drink and have fun. You see all the rest of these guys doing it still, but
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't there like out of control or anything.
no.
oh yeah, but I'm just saying in general though, like the whole Manning thing, that should have never happened.
Right. And
You
he's
can't
got
do
to be
that to the
smarter.
Mannings.
Because he can say he's just acting like your everyday college kid, but he's got to realize he's not your everyday college kid.
Right.
Not only is he hurting his name, his university, his family, his coach, but he's also hurting himself in terms of his draft stock. I mean, NFL teams are going to look at these events and what has happened and transpired, and he's going to get grilled when they're doing their interviews.
What happened with the Mannings?
He went as a counselor to their camp, and he was out late one night, and I guess he slept in and missed the morning meetings. And the reports were that he was hungover, but he declined that. But just to be invited to such a prestigious camp with two great quarterbacks,
And their dad, too.
and their
Archie
dad,
was running it,
so
yeah.
3 great quarterbacks, and to have that opportunity and blow it like that, it's just really embarrassing. I felt embarrassed for him.
Yeah, you can't be doing that to the Mannings.
No.
If there's anyone you're going to be doing that to, it's not the Mannings.
No. That's not the place.
Or the Harringtons.
Or yes, the Harringtons.
Do not disrespect the Harringtons because I will find you and I will tap that beep because Joey Harrington's the best quarterback of all time. Right
Joey
here.
Blue Skies.
Yeah.
Speaking of Joey Blue Skies, a buddy of mine from school messaged me on Facebook today because he knows I'm into sports news, and he has a friend that has a blog that's called joeyblueskies.com. It's pretty funny. I read some of the stuff. It was pretty good.
Is it still like going today, or is that back when Joey was?
No, this is
relevant?
going on right now. It's called Joey Blue Skies.
Does he just
That's
give
awesome. I'm
daily
gonna
updates
subscribe.
on?
No,
Joey? What's
you
it
guys know
about?
barstool.com?
Yeah.
It's kind of like barstool.com. I think my buddy said that barstool.com actually offered to buy joeyblueskies.com, but the guy didn't want to sell it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
On a side note, I was just thinking, in the introduction where you give our height and weight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might need to edit that up with my revised weight.
But what should I say for your weight? Coming in at 6'4" and a fluctuating weight.
And a fluctuating 235.
But then we'll have to go back and do it every single week. But
That's true.
Maybe we can just say you come in at an imposing 6'4".
Yeah.
Or a
Can we say like
giggly
coming in
6'4".
coming in at like a 235 to 243?
Oh, you want to give a range?
Give like a range?
What happens if you drop more weight next week, though? You're going to be out of the range already.
Well, I just want to put out accurate information as a responsible journalist.
Hey, I hear you. So you want to do somewhere in the 200s. How about that?
Yeah.
Or is that too low?
We'll say
Somewhere in the 200s, but not below 220.
yeah.
Somewhere above 220 pounds, but not more than 250 pounds.
Fluctuating between 220 and 250.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
We can work on that.
Yeah, we'll get that in.
You get up to 250, we're gonna see that double chin come in, huh?
I was up to 250.
Were you?
Yeah. That's once I hit the 250 mark, I'm like, all right, I gotta make a change here.
Got like a Kevin James look.
Yeah.
I can't. Well, I guess it's not that much. But I can't picture you at 250.
What were you at in your prime, Milt?
My prime, I was 5'11" and a half, 230, stomping the yard,
Nice.
looking.
Wait, say it again. Where were you at?
230.
230.
Yeah, I was looking whack.
He was looking real sick.
Real dick.
I forgot to tell you guys, I shrank.
What?
You lost some,
Where?
some height.
Height.
Oh man.
I didn't jump in a
Did
cold
you go in the pool? Yeah.
I didn't jump in a cold pool. My height, I shrank.
What?
When I went to get that physical a few weeks ago, with the shoes off, I was 5'11" on the button, and I used to be 6 foot and like a couple
Dang.
quarter inches. So I'm still 6 feet with shoes on, but I shrank, man. I'm too young to be shrinking. It's terrible. And I'm taller than you,
Yeah.
so you're shrinking too.
No.
You're probably in that 5'10" range, dude.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, me and Milt are still growing.
Maybe
We're
there
still
was
getting
a miscalculation with
Maybe.
the height.
Yeah.
Maybe I was hunched over or just being lazy about it. It was early in
Yeah.
the morning.
Better not be strength. I'm still
it's
trying to
early
go
in
to
the
the
It
league.
was early in the morning.
So that's when you should have been your tallest.
Your draft
'Cause
stocks
grow,
just
you
dropped.
grow every night.
No. No one wants a white dude under 6 feet. If you're 6 foot or above, you got a chance. But
Yeah.
now I'm not. It's very
still got dreams
discouraging.
of the
What are you
league.
talking about? Everybody wants this. Everybody wants me.
I'm talking about for the league.
Yeah, in the league, they want this. I'm under 6
The
feet.
league.
No, not for the Powder Puff League.
Which league are we talking about? Yeah.
All right, wrong league. Wrong league.
I'm just trying to make it to the D League, man. That's my dream.
What's the D League?
The
NBA Development
the Dick
League.
League.
Which way is the
Not-
wind blowing, Milt?
No.
We can all still make a beer league if you guys want to do something like that.
Joel the Dude's about to join the beer league, I hear.
Yeah. Joel the Dude's got nothing going on except for beer league drinking.
That's it. All day, every day. I'm going to be the beer league champ.
You deserve it, though. You put in a lot of hard work to get that score.
Thanks, guys.
We're all proud of you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm so proud of you.
Beautiful, Milt. Beautiful. Is that how you get the babies at the
Oh,
bar?
man. We
You
need
sing
to
to
shut
them?
it down. Weird.
Is that how you set up your business meetings at Woody's?
Yeah.
Woody's.
With my associates, yeah. That's how I do it.
That was the best line of the night. Line of the night goes to Danny.
I'm killing it this week.
You are killing it this week. Dropping lines, dropping weight,
Dropping weight.
bump set and spiked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anyone on Tinder?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Giving up on the Tinder game.
You're giving up on it?
Yeah, I'm giving up on it. It's going
Danny's
nowhere.
just getting into it.
It's going.
Joe, I might join you. It's just.
I don't even talk to
Oh,
anyone
Dan,
on
you're
there.
pulling the plug on that already?
Yeah, I never really. I don't know. There was like a few days where it was new and exciting, but I'm kind of over it.
I just use it to make me feel good. Just because you just get a bunch of girls that think you're cute. So
Right.
I just use it to just be like, oh yeah, look at all these girls. They all thought I was cute, but I'm not gonna talk.
Boost
to
your
any
morale
of
a
you.
little bit.
Yeah,
get a little
just
boost.
boost your ego. You're just like, oh, look at this. Look at all these little girls thinking I'm cute.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Mitch's Man Cave. If you are on Tinder, please give Joel and Danny a thumbs up because they are in need of a
Swipe
morale
it, baby.
booster.
To the
And-
right.
To the right. To the right. To the right.
And thanks for tuning in. You may now exit the Man Cave.